All right, guys. So then let's get started with Horus and Seth on line 8-5, I think it was. No, a bit, we got further. We got further.
So we need to look through the hieratic from line 6 at Aha and Sutech near the end of the line.
Okay.
Down one.
Hang on. How do I move the pictures? There we go. Line 6.
To the left. Yeah.
Okay.
There. And then start translating the next line down where the red is, the wedding in it.
We got to the elder brother basically last time. Oops, sorry about that. Well, is there anything to call out we haven't seen yet? Aha, Seth, bird on a stick, Ash, Sagab. So interesting, the G looks almost like a P, right? That's normal. It has just that little extra stroke on top. Not that many G's really, so you don't see it all that often, but yeah, there it is, like this.
In this word. And
yeah. So Sagab.
the finger is weird, although we've talked about it. We talked about it much earlier.
The finger?
The finger determinative, isn't that a finger? The thing.
Oh, it's a tusk.
Oh,
it's a tusk. Sorry.
Yeah, the finger is
Okay.
standing up, right? Would look like this basically.
Right.
The tusk, yeah, the tusk is completely not what you would expect. It's something like this, and then it has a horizontal. And it always looks like this. It almost looks like it should be a knife or something. But yeah, that's the
Little
tusk.
triangle. Although when you call it a tusk, the hieratic makes a lot more sense.
It looks like a tooth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a tooth. This here I think is just carryover from the line above, so has nothing to do with our A2 man. The R is really broken up here due to wax in the papyrus. Chur is always, ta is, or tai is always, tai pesjet. For some reason it's this Ennead, not any other. 3 times gods, bird on a stick. We missed the plural strokes, I think.
We did.
So that's something that we could add. UF or F, Regenu.
Aurelio, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes, sir. No, go ahead.
Can you go back to the plural strokes?
Yes.
Didn't he miss a stroke? I thought the plural stroke was a single stroke with, well, I can't see it, and then maybe blow it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Hang on. How do I get out of the... there we go.
You go.
Okay.
All right, so I see the nature sign, bird on a standard with a single stroke. I've seen the plural stroke with 2 strokes above the, I mean, I'm sure it comes in probably 1 and 2, but I know I've seen it mainly with just 2 strokes.
I see what you're saying. The second stroke here, is that a stroke or is that just an odd
you're right. I
serif
see
or
it.
something? I think it's the plural strokes just from context. Otherwise, I'd agree. If I'd seen it without anything else, yeah. If I'd seen
It looks like a bird on the stick to me, but if you zoom in a long way, like you can see there's kind of wiggles, I think.
Right.
You're right.
Right.
It's like touching the line at the top. Yeah.
I think it would make
Yeah.
sense from context more than anything else. That
It
because
would.
you're right, the second one looks almost like a serif.
Mhm.
And by the way, I'm just going to point that out again. It's really cute how every stroke has that little serif at the end, right? If you're into Chinese calligraphy, you'll see that too, that depending on the style, you finish any stroke with like a little, oh, in some styles you also start at the beginning with sort of like a little round movement of the brush. They did something similar here just to get that special shape. That's intentional. That's not an accident, I think. So that's just the way how you do it. Makes it look much more elegant, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they can, I mean, if you want to end it on a pointy tip, you can. Plenty of examples of that too. Well, let's see. UF, Chena, no, not Chena, Regenu. Which means what again?
It's another word for being angry.
Oh, yes, right.
Like enraged.
Really enraged, yes. Seriously ticked. Yes, right. That's what that was. I'm not sure what to say about any of these because we've covered all of them before. This year I would have read as an R. I mean, I believe what we transcribed, but how do you know? You know what I mean? Like, could be an R, could be a T.
Yeah.
Only context. Wait, but why would it be a T?
Oh, you know what? Gardner has an R. He has RT, or sorry, hold on. Yeah, he has RT and then a W.
That's what Ellie has too, actually, now that I look at it. So maybe it is a T, an R.
I think we have an error. We're just missing the R.
Okay, alrighty. Who's fixing these right now, by the way? Is that with you, Aaron? Is that with Ralph?
Ralph tends to do them, but I can do them also.
Either one of us can fix it.
Okay, all right.
Should be writing them down.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's a really nice study document. You, then the D with the T at the end, Ta, Yaut. Really nothing else to say about that one either, unless you see something. The book roll form that we had
I have
left.
to know that.
Go
You
get.
kind of have to know the youth is there, right?
Yeah, it's completely.
Blank on the determinatives.
It's just because we've had it on so many pages before that you can now fill that in your sleep, but that's what should be there, and it isn't. I mean, it's completely erased.
I think there's that whole line that's flaked off that goes down this page.
Right.
If we
Oh.
zoom out, I think you can see it.
Got it. Yeah.
The whole column, I mean.
Let me see if I can do that. Sorry, really struggling with the technology today. Oh,
Yeah.
you're saying this year is the same thing, basically. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
where
here
the
too, we had
two
common.
layers.
Good point. What else? And by oh, we haven't have we had the glyph for Sen before? For brother?
I thought we had.
We
but-
must have, but it would have been early on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe page.
I mean, is this
Apparently not.
part of it or not? Let's take a quick look at it. Tsukuba, right? Tsukuba University?
Yeah. Or Marla. There.
So there you go. And the reason I'm using that one is because I have no idea what the glyph number is, and I'm lazy. And here you can type phonetics, which you can't in the
Oh, Sen and
wrong Sen, still the wrong. Here we go. That's better.
T22.
Thank you, sir. That's what it is indeed. So earlier versions just look like little loop, but we're here exactly. And so it gains that little extra stroke on the left-hand side. Interesting. And I'm sure as you go on and they become more conservative, they go back to the old one? No, not really. They keep the extra thingy.
At least in some documents, yeah.
Right. I mean, often when you go like to Sayite or something, the later dynasties, they get super conservative, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Okay, then the only question remaining would be, how do you actually write this? Like this, and then the rest, question mark? I mean, what, or like this, and then the rest? Is it? Is it something like that, really complicated? Or is it as simple as, what was my other proposal? I guess the other proposal would have been like that.
Yeah, maybe that. This part doesn't look connected to me.
Go back
Yeah.
to the paleography for a second.
Say again?
Go back to the paleography.
Sure.
It seems like that it's one long stroke.
Coming down, right?
Yeah, not breaking up halfway down, but that may not be consistently true.
Sort of like ergonomically, I'm thinking sort of the same, like you would do this first and then do that. That seems kind of logical. Or maybe even coming up like this and then go down and then do this part. The only problem I have with the paleography, while, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Mueller or whoever was working with him as well. I don't know if he did that all by himself or had an assistant. I mean, they did an amazing job, but it's always going through somebody else's interpretation, right? So
Yeah,
what you really can tell is what an Egyptian scribe of the 1800s did and early 1900s, not 80, not BC, unfortunately. So that's
right.
the problem. I mean, if you look at that, this looks like it's a three-stroke affair at that point. So it could be that too. And then here you see that's like, okay, first stroke, second stroke, third stroke. If that's representative, then it could be tuck, tuck, tuck. I don't know, guys. I guess I'll have to leave that one open, unfortunately.
You know what? There's
Yeah,
another one. I think there's another one later in the line. Maybe we can see
Okay.
it better there.
And let's keep it at the on the back burner until we see it again.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm thinking learning how to write it is always the best way to learn how to read it. So it's value added. And in some cases, you can really see it. Like, you can see that these two, and this thing in the middle go together. In which order? Well, that I don't know.
The other ones are really blurry.
Say again.
The other instance is harder to read,
Right.
kind of cramming it in at the line.
Right. I see.
Because we have Shin Sherry and then
Mm-hmm.
Pi F Sen.
Yes. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's not helpful.
Not really. No, you're right. Okay. But we made it successfully to the end of the line. But that's interesting. So back to my point from a moment ago, it helps to know how to write, to be able to read. So naively, I would have read this as a reed leaf if you didn't know any better, because it almost looks like one, right? But if you know that the sen at this point in time has like a sideward stroke, that suddenly makes a lot more sense, that this is just sen plus determinative stroke. So I think that's an ideal example for that thing that Christian always said, like you should learn how to write so you can read. Can also sort of see that the double reed leaf really has two separate diagonals. They're not combined or anything. Sometimes they look like they're a single big stroke. They're not. They did them in sequence. 1, 2. Also interesting. Okay. All right. We made it to the end of the line. So let's continue. Clear all drawings. Zoom out. Yes. So who wants it? Chris, you want to take it?
Yes, I'll go.
Right.
All right. So we have Win and F. We're after
You're in the right place. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
When enough.
so Win and F Hieratic Mjed.
Hang on.
And we have EU. Oh yeah, this is EU2 Rui. Hedge
Right. Mhm.
Ni Heru. Sa Aset M. This is a tutu form. A tutu.
Yeah.
Oh, is it tutu or is it tut?
I think it's Tutu. I mean, Zatzinger says that the first W was, wait, does he say? I thought he had a comment on that, if which of the W's was pronounced, but I just go with Tutu. Plus, it's fun to
Tutu.
say.
With that.
Yeah, and it all goes together for the conjunctive.
Wacha FR. Pa. Is it Pa Mu? Oh, yeah, Pa Mu. Yeah, Pa Mu Eri. Sechenu or Sechen probably. Pa. Wait, no. Okay, on Sechenu. The bird. So Pa. Uh-oh. This is kind of.
This is tricky, yeah.
Is it?
It's a new Egyptian word, basically. Starting, hang on, how do I do this?
Yeah, no, it's just
So the previous one stops here, Sechenu, and then the next one is this whole monster, which becomes Nim in Coptic, believe it or not, with, I think it's just Irem, JRM in Egyptological transcription. It means basically with. Becomes Nim in Coptic, and how that happens, I don't know, but supposedly.
Already was Nim by this point.
You mean
Is
like
there not a Nim?
was there
I'm
a
sure I've seen that.
Nim. Oh, maybe you mean Nim as in the sense of who? Like
No, as in with.
with.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things Christian was teaching us in class. Like the sister is with the brother, you know.
Okay, and that should be this word. But I mean it's still spelled R-O-M basically. I guess you could. I'm not sure if that pronunciation is a bit. Hang on, what do you have, Ralph? I can.
Yeah, here we
So
go.
Nouveau's transliterates
Yeah.
it by JRM.
JRM, right? Yeah.
you said it's Irnim?
Irem. Hang on, can we type that
Irem.
here? I mean, this is how I would transcribe it at that point in time. I don't know. I would have to rewatch the old videos.
Yeah, I printed this is so me. I printed it all out. I'm looking through my textbook that I made of it.
Nice.
And I'm absolutely positive because I remember. Yeah, here we go. Okay, check this out. I'm actually going to hold up a piece of paper to the camera. This is old school, kids. All right. Yeah, the sister is not with the siblings, but look at the see the name.
Hang on, it's so small. How can I make it bigger? Can I make you the main?
I see
Butler
Benta
for everyone?
Senet. I see
You
Nimna.
send that to Nim.
Oh wow.
Nah,
I'm not.
Oh wow. I've not
Send
this.
that
That's
Nim.
actually him. Yeah.
Nim.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
awesome.
did a whole lesson on that.
Ish.
So
Okay.
it's definitely, well,
That's
I
cool.
mean,
So you
it's
can
definitely
actually
late
write it as
Egyptian. I
M.
can't say that it's right for this period, but I mean, it makes sense that the Coptic is Nim because it's definitely a late.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You're right. Wait, hang on. Sorry.
But they spelled it Mim and whatever this thing is. Is that group writing?
That's group writing. They do that whenever.
Okay.
So the only one I knew, but no, that's a great call out. The only one I knew was the word for like who, Nim. But apparently this is very cool. Not coming up in Ramesses.
Weird.
This is the one that I was thinking of. Do they have an example sentence here? I mean, this group writing spelling is just way more common. But that's interesting. I wonder where Christian got that from. Can I
Yeah.
ask? I mean, at some point in time, it has to become Nim, right? If the theory is right, that's the ancestor of the Coptic word. Oh, Irem. No, still Irem. Still has an R in it. Let's take that as a follow-up. Great call out.
Yeah, Let's Go has Mim as there, not as with.
Huh.
That's really interesting.
That looks like a deep dive.
I mean, Christian wouldn't have made it up. It must be from something.
There
right.
must be a newer
Maybe.
mapping or something.
And he would have chosen the word that had a Coptic descendant, not the one that was a further stretch. So I can see why
Yeah.
he chose that rather than this.
True. Am I still sharing my screen?
Uh-huh.
And if I move it, is it moving? Yeah, it is. Ah, okay, good. All right.
That is.
Cool. Sorry to interrupt though, but yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
good. So it's Irnim F. Is that where we're at? Yeah.
Yeah.
Irnim F.
Map.
Okay.
E-
Oh, my boxes
Wow.
again. Yes. Okay. And then sorry about that. And then yeah, it's a long sentence. Yep.
Irta. Iawet or Iawut.
Right.
Iawet. Mhm. Then we have Heka.
Pekka. All right. I think that's the end of the little monster. So what's he saying?
Let's go back here. We started, oh, up here at the win in Nif, okay.
Yep.
So it seems like he's saying, so when, I'll say, I guess then to he,
Yeah, we need to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense the way it is.
then to he.
The word you need to know is iri anash or iri anach.
So I know Ankh mean to, I know it can also mean captive or bind. I don't think it means life here though, right? It doesn't, I'm assuming that's not the meaning of it here.
You're correct. It has one more meaning. It's spelled like life, but it means something else. It means to make, especially with the verb to do, to make in front of it. It means to make a vow, or yeah.
So it's kind of like almost
Swear.
a causative, I know not a causative effect, but
Oh, I think it's more like, but that's my theory. I could be wrong. I think it has got something to do that very often is you would say something like, as so-and-so lives or may live, the following shall happen. So
Okay.
it may be derived from really the verb to live. Interestingly, in Coptic, they are separate. So you have onch, life, and you have anash, which is what do you call that? The oath. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the oath. So that's anash.
so that here is an auxiliary verb. So Ankh is a verb.
I think it's a noun, actually. I think it's a noun. Let me look it
Okay.
up. But then with the auxiliary verb, it becomes like an expression to make an oath. Let's see. Anach. Here we go. Jurer, prêter serment. And here it's used as a verb, actually. It's interesting. So you can use it as a verb to make an oath. Like this case, there's no ire here.
Mhm.
Here he's using it with the auxiliary. And that's all we're getting. Wow, that's not much. Could have sworn there's more. Here. Oh, okay. So 2 examples for the verb, and then the others are for the noun. That's more common, I think.
Well, they call it a substantive, so they think it's derived from the verb.
Right. Which makes sense. Okay. So that's what that thing is.
Okay, so to a living, I keep saying to a living. So I guess he made to swear an oath, or
Yes, the thing is, what do we make out of that NF? You could say it's to him, but Ellie suggests at least that this is just a misspelling, that it should have been one N only, and he wrote one too many. So if it were just when NF, Anach.
then he swore or made an oath.
Precisely. That makes way more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everything else gets super complicated because otherwise, where is you have a T here, so I think that solution is the best. Then he swore an oath. Mjet?
Mjet, I guess in saying or with saying, or in speech.
Saying, yeah, I think that's right.
And let's see, you do, and I guess and or then, not then, and you. No, that would be it. And one.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Rui. I don't remember what Rui means.
Take away. That's to remove, to take away.
Okay, to remove. Let's see. So let's see. And remove, to take away. The white crown.
That's right.
Is that right? Hajet.
That's right.
Yeah,
Crown. And then we have Hieratic. Let's see, the head of Heru. So he took away the white crown. What, did he take it away, or did he?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. So what is this thing here? You
Yeah.
to what could it be?
Is it you
So-
to? And one.
It was taken, right?
One's taken. That sounds good. Yeah, and one's taken the white crown from the head of Heru.
Yeah.
It have to be future.
So how can we decide that? If it was the crown was taken
The
away,
third future. Is there?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a missing
Yes.
in here. You to
air, yes, the third.
That's what that is. Perfect.
Okay, so it's third future. And he took away the white crown from the head of Horus, son of Aset.
That's right. Perfect.
Here's the tutu again. So it's not tutu. It's so we got the verb. Sorry. So we have waha. In. Okay, is that waha or just ha?
Just ha.
Ha. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know that one. Waha, F. His.
To throw, I think. Ra is
Yeah.
to throw something, somebody, or maybe even yourself. In this case, however, it's not yourself. I'm just saying it may come up in the future with yourself.
But a question though, but going back to the M22, I know I've seen that form before in Late Egyptian. Is that tutu or is that something else here?
Have you studied Coptic?
No.
Okay. Otherwise, it would be super familiar in Coptic. It has Late Egyptian and Coptic have a form called the conjunctive, which basically is used when you want to continue the first part of the sentence. So basically, it would be like, for example, im tuf and he, and then comes the verb and the infinitive. And if you want to use it with the impersonal tu, it becomes im tutu. So it would be im tuk would be and you, im tuf would be and him, and im tutu would be and one. So if you have a a third future in the beginning, this would be continuing that third future.
Got you. And you. Okay, cool. And we said ha means what again? And
Throw.
he threw. Oh, I say he past tense and he throws.
Well, it's passive, really, in English.
Oh, so he threw it into the water.
Now, if this continues the first part of the sentence, and the first part of the sentence was, one shall take the crown from the white crown from the head of Horus, or if you want to make it passive, the white crown of the shall be removed from the head of Horus, and this continues that time, basically the tense. What would it be then? Let's say, and one shall take the crown away from the head of Horus. And
Are they throwing the crown or are they throwing Horus in the river?
Yeah, same question. That F is very ambiguous.
Actually,
it makes sense in context that he wants Horus thrown in the river because he wants the crown for himself. But
my first
It's not
read,
clear.
I would have thought the crown, because they're talking about take the crown and throw, not it, but him. But is there a way to know that outside of context? There really isn't.
well, how could you tell? There's one way. The crown is
if
a
crown were
masculine
feminine,
or-
you could tell, but it isn't.
Oh, it isn't? I thought it was.
Do you think crown's feminine?
Oh, is it? Is it feminine?
I thought it was. Here you go.
They said yes.
It should have a T. It doesn't here, but
Oh, I see.
it
Go with
should.
the
Well,
T.
there you go then.
Oh, there you go. Throw him in the river. Not ambiguous. That's so unusual for Egyptian.
The problem is it doesn't make any sense here in context. I'm wondering if it's a mistake. I mean, I hate to pretend that we know the language better than a native speaker, but assuming the crown is feminine,
Right.
then it would
Then
have
it
to
would be throw
Horus.
him. So throw
Then
Horus.
throw
That
him,
F would
yeah.
be Horus then.
I mean, okay, it's Seth speaking, and he's not really having much love for his brother / whatever. If he's the uncle, that's the other thing. This text keeps switching between Seth being the uncle and being the brother. So right now he's the brother over here. So that would make it his younger brother. There's not much love lost, so maybe he's really saying throw him into the water. It's
Well,
a bit.
and if as we continue, it becomes clear that that's what he means.
Oh, right, because yeah, you're right. That's if you just read a sentence ahead, right? So maybe it's throw him into the water. Okay, and then
Okay, so we threw him into the water. And then we have E. And what was done, I guess, well, Sechen.
ya sechenu. What was Secheno? No?
Contend.
Yes, that's right. Or plead, like plead in court. The only thing is, I tried to find attestations for that. I found one other one that was not Horus and Seth, and all other ones are from this text. Especially in the next page, it's going to be like on every page, and that seems to be like 90% of the attestations of this word, at least in late Egyptian. But yeah, to plead or to contend.
So he made, basically, he pled or made a content. Here's that word you just finished talking, the phrase, irnim. That was irnim. Who?
That's the other name.
Oh, that's
Which is spelled differently, also in group writing, but it's spelled with an N.
yeah, I don't remember this one. You said it, irnim.
This is
What
this is with. The word is with. Irim is with. And
with
Irimuf would be
him or with it?
with him, yeah. Probably with him.
With him.
And Erta Yaudreke.
So I guess with respect to or with the, is that decree? Not decree. That's not decree.
Office.
That's
Office.
office. Okay.
Right.
And they start a shanu there, but they don't finish it on the other line. So I guess just, is that with the ruler?
Yes, that's right. So the office of the ruler. Very good.
Now,
That's-
why is that? Why is it not finished? Because normally you'll see it finished off with the,
yes.
the stroke. And
I was wondering about that too, and I don't have an answer, unfortunately. You would expect to have like another one here and then this, right?
yes.
And I don't know why we don't have that. Because I thought when he spelled Wenifer before, that other name for Osiris, I think that was closed. It did have this thing. Let's see. We are on 8.8, so wow, guys, we're on 8.8. That's so cool. Where was Wenifer? I thought like page 3 or something, comparatively high up. Somewhere towards the end of the line. Osiris Wenifer. Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. That one
Oh,
is.
I did it again. You're right, though. There's a lacuna, it's a little scratch out there or something. Yeah.
Yeah, where was it again? But that's annoying because it's not searchable. Let's do this. The corpus, unfortunately, in Ramesses online is really small. And I wouldn't be surprised if, no, doesn't come up. No, okay. I sort of hoped it would be in here. Was it not Wenifer?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. It is page 3, line 9.
There you go. That was something else. That was, oh, here we just have the closing one.
Exactly. Yeah. So we only have one half of it either way.
That's too funny. Okay. And I guess no one Wenifer, maybe I made that up. I don't have a good answer, honestly. When they do it and when they don't do it. But you're right. I mean, instinctively, I would have expected opening brackets and closing brackets, but apparently that is not a must anymore.
That must be a Middle Egyptian thing.
Right.
That's what we used to
Probably.
say.
Well, let me head back to line 8.8.
Oh, you're right. There was a when and effort. It's on page 1 and it is complete.
Ah, there you go.
Both sides of the
Thank you.
bracket, line 6, end of the line.
Going up, going up. There you
Bingo.
go. Bingo. Thank you. There it is. And it is fully complete, like you would have expected. When Nefer, nice Nefer here. the bird on a stick, and here goes. Full closure. Is there a D? Maybe, huh? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't see it in the.
I don't see a D. I mean, this stuff is highly abbreviated, right? So what you Mhm.
And Gardner does not have a D there. That might just be a mistake.
Maybe it's a mistake, huh? I mean, typically what happens here is they like to write the Anach Ujai Sinip as 1, 2, 3. And if the scribe's really not in the mood, it may just become tuck, 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 because hey, we know what we're gonna say here, right? So that's because it has to go after every mention of Pharaoh. You can't mention his name without putting that behind it. So very often you'd have like closing bracket, another stroke, another stroke, another stroke, another stroke. But here's one extra. Closing bracket, this, then this would be the live
Yep,
prosperity
so
thing.
So the
So there
question is that first vertical part of the closing cartouche, or is it something else?
Oof.
But also the grammar doesn't make sense, like D Ankh Ujet.
You know,
It's
live.
the phrases are crossed, right?
I
It's
question
not LPH.
Yeah. I don't know what else it would be, but I mean, I'm not sure what else it could be, but I don't think it's D. Oh, and I know why we didn't get the whenever. Because it's spelled with an extra N. That's why. My bad. Hang on, let's check what's it called? Ramesses online. There you go. If you spell the gentleman right. Unennefer in French, apparently. Okay. Ah, look at that. I know. Yeah, that's ours. And they just put a random, I don't know what this is, thingy. Maybe that's what we should put. I mean, there's clearly a stroke, but what it is, who knows? All right. Very good. So you can close the bracket, you just don't have to anymore. It's
Right.
not
It's understood from the master scribes, right? It's
right,
like, oh, we know what
exactly.
it is.
But I'm sure if you did it while you're still an apprentice, somebody would have called you out. I mean, if you look at the students' documents, they use really old style hieratic, like Middle Kingdom hieratic. And then later when they write as scribes, you have those Ramesside forms, which are way more vertical and very stylish. So I think they intentionally learned the older form in like in school, quote unquote. And then you have all these little red emendation marks from the teacher. And sometimes you can see that a student, for example, spelled something phonetically and they spelled the wrong word, like there and there, basically, or you're and you are, mixing them up. And then you see the teacher basically penciling it in, like, and I'm hearing in my ear, like, you idiot, basically, you spell it like that. Oh, well, where were we? Okay, so we had, and the white crown of Horus shall be, sorry, rubbish. And they shall take they shall take, no and. They shall take the crown from the head of Horus, the son of Isis, and shall throw him, question mark, into the water. Interestingly, the water gets an article, just like in English, the crown doesn't. I'm not sure if that's because it's one of those
I couldn't find an attestation of the crown with an article at all.
interesting
So
question.
the being feminine is based entirely on that T, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I see. You couldn't find one at all, huh? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is, of course, also could say my crown, because it's Seth speaking. That would also explain why it can't be the crown that's going into the water. I mean, he clearly wants it. So it actually does make sense to say throw him into the water. So that, and then it could make some sense if it says take my white crown away from the head of Horus, the son of Isis, throw him into the water. And now comes the tricky part. Iri sechenu irmov. plead or contend with him for the office of ruler. But what is the eerie proposal? I mean, it would make sense. Who else should be competing, or who else should be pleading with them than Seth? So I think this should be a first person here. If it is a first person singular, what can it be? It could really only be the subjunctive. What I don't know is if the subjunctive is normally spelled with a double reed leaf at the end. So my proposal would be we can cheat.
Ramesses has it as the subjunctive.
Okay, all right, there you go. And then I guess the subjunctive, I mean, the way the subjunctive works in Late Egyptian, there are two Sejamef forms in Late Egyptian that are left. We don't have a present Sejamef anymore, but we have a Sejamef that's the subjunctive. May he hear. And we have a past tense, which would be he heard. So those are the two options. When you see something that looks like a Sejamef in Middle Egyptian, it can be one of those two. In this case, may I hear makes an awful lot of sense. So I would go with that. May I contend, so that I may contend with him for the office of ruler. Very cool. Little side note, Poist, the German guy, Carsten Poist, he has a little language guide. It's really cute. It's basically like it's in a series of travel books. Normally you'd like, I don't know, if you want to learn Hebrew to travel or whatever, you could pick that up. It only costs a few euro. And he wrote one for Late Egyptian, which is super cute because essentially it's like a language guide, how you would communicate if you were to travel back to Ramesses Egyptian. So, and in that book, he claims that one of them he vocalizes with an R and one with a U. So like Sejmaf versus Sejmuf or something, like one is the subjunctive and one is the past tense. I forgot which one is which one. But of course, that's a tempting hypothesis that the two forms may have had different vocalization, but unfortunately, it's really hard to figure that out because the past tense one does not survive into Coptic. Only the subjunctive one does. The subjunctive one survives as part of those T causatives, like whenever you have T plus a verb, like I think tako, to destroy. Those are actually like a D, like to give, plus a subjunctive verb. So literally give that he may be destroyed, takov. And so you can actually figure out the vowel for the subjunctive. You can't figure out the one for the past tense because it just doesn't live on. Okay, I'm done with my bunny ride, but just wanted to share that.
Okay, and this is our Irim preposition again, Irim
Yeah.
for with him.
The reason why they do that is, I guess, because that word was not in classical. So what they do in Late Egyptian is whenever the word is in the classical language, they normally spell it out the way it used to be, sometimes adding like extra W's or Y's, but otherwise leaving it pretty much as is. But when it is a word that did not appear in the classical language, it may have been a dialectal word before, it may be new, then they use the syllabic spelling because they don't know what else to do with it. There's no established spelling for it. And that's why Nim or Irim both are spelled with this funky. I mean, I guess Yirmov, I don't know. I picked that up from a talk by Kilani, which it's a YouTube video. It's called, I think, When One Writing System Is Not Enough. And he speaks about how that syllabic writing came about. Highly recommended. It's on YouTube under that title, When One Writing System Is Not Enough. Check it out if you like.
Cool.
Shall we do the hieratic and then wrap it up?
Sounds good.
All right. Great job. Complex sentence. So let's see. When in extra N, ire, anach, jed. Okay. Irtutu, he always does that. No, not irtutu. You too. I'm sorry. You too. This one you really have to know that this is Rui. Rui, Chat, which is strongly simplified. This is not an F. This is just a I guess he doesn't want to ride the crown. That's what that is. Her, as always, Tep, we had the last time, or Tep. Hor, Sa like a pa, but without the wings. Ise, and Tutu. Interesting, if you look at that one, you can see that he spells it out a bit more. If you look at the U2, it's just like stroke, stroke, stroke. And here for the M22, he goes like M, T, W, T, W. So you can really distinguish them, which is nice. He could even have bound it over. He could have done that for the second two. He likes to do that a lot. And I'm wondering if the binding is actually there and we just don't see it because there's a piece missing in the middle. Because it almost looks like he's trying to bind that over, right? There's like a little something here. So I think he's trying to do this.
Mhm.
What else? The way you always do it. At least in this document. Anything else? Irpamu, as you would expect. Irai, or something like that. Sechenu. Pa, you really have to know that that's what that is. It's not really a pa, it's just a bird. For whatever reason, it's in that word. It's also in tene, in where, which is spelled almost the same way. It's spelled tenu. So I wonder if that's like a graphical carryover. I have no idea what that flying bird is doing in that word. A true man. Our new thingy here, Irm. And this here is interesting. That's a ligature for ma. I think that also starts earlier, at least in the New Kingdom, if not even earlier, where you have like the M. Oops, can I do this? Where you have the M written something like, well, you would expect, no, wait, how does this go again? Sorry. We could look it up. I mean, normally M would be like this, right? And then whatever you put underneath should be ligatured like that. But they make it into what you see here, like big loop, another loop, and then something underneath, whatever comes underneath. So
Oh,
that's,
there you go. I can't see your screen. I'm sorry.
oh, what
I
happened
see
here?
you, but I can't see your.
You can't see my screen. Is that the same for everybody else too?
No, I can see your screen.
Yeah, I can still see it.
So do I pin? I have you pinned. Where is it going on here?
That's weird. Could it be that you've accidentally pinned me instead of the screen? I've done that
Yep.
before.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Okay. Sorry.
No worries. Actually, you know what? Let me show you guys this real quick. Maybe in the paleography. MR. There you go. So it starts out normally, right? Like a normal M plus an R, and then it gets this shape. And then as time goes on, it becomes this really weird 3 on top of something else. And that's what we have here. So that's a sign you have to get used to. They also do it with MR for MER. So this comes from that shape of the M that looks like a 3. And then it gets sort of squished in the upper corner. And that's how you make that ligature. So I think that's a useful one to know. This is sort of the shape I was thinking about. Cool. Well, hang on. Let's make it to the end of the line. Yaut. The Yut is kind of damaged. We can see how the determinative is done very clearly here. Huge loop for the cartouche. Small heka. And then, yeah, I guess end of the line, and he just doesn't bother with the rest. Okay, cool. Shall we stop here then for today? All right, guys, let's continue in about a month on this topic. Thanks all for the for the support on that. Appreciate that. And yeah, see you in a moment
See
for
you in a minute.
Ramesses.
All right.
Bye bye.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.